Welcome in. Happy New Year's. Like, comment, subscribe. The Texans video actually is doing pretty well, so keep watching that. If you guys like it, throw it a comment. If you hate it, also throw it a comment. But today, I was a hater to start the year. And it wasn't because I didn't like the team or the players on the team, just because it absolutely felt like the mixture from the year from hell for the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, Kyrie Jackson passes away in the offseason after they draft him. RIP. JJ McCarthy hurts his knee. Sam Darnold gets named the starter, but obviously I was wrong. So I want to go into a few reasons of why I was wrong, why the Minnesota Vikings were one of the best teams in the NFL, and then kind of cap it off because ultimately the Minnesota Vikings have a big decision to make after the season's over. So I want to go into the coaching first. First off, Kevin O'Connell, no-brainer coach of the year this season. If you think otherwise, you're a hater. Um, in his first 3 seasons of a head coach, he is 34-16. And one of those seasons that he went 7-10. Obviously, Kirk Cousins went down. He had Dobbs as a starter, Jaron Hall, Nick Mullins. I mean, the list of guys who was playing quarterback for that team. I mean, you can't really expect to win as many games as you would like to with those guys. Let's just keep it real. No playoff win yet. I obviously expect that to change probably this season, honestly. KOC, he's obviously starting to blossom as I have a friend that works in the NFL. He texted in our group chat the other day and he was like, he's probably the best play caller in the league. I'll probably still give it to Andy Reid or Shanahan, but I mean, he is starting to get into that high end list of being like the one of the undeniable best play callers in the league. I mean, he's just special. Next, I want to talk about the D coordinator, Brian Flores. If you look at the talent that they have on that defense and what he gets out of what they have, it's so impressive. It is so impressive. I mean, he has Stephon Gilmore, Harrison Smith. I mean, they rolled out the retirement home with those guys in the secondary, and then somebody like Byron Murphy, who played for the Arizona Cardinals, who couldn't find a home, and he has him playing at a high level, like a plus starter level in the NFL, which they weren't able to get out of him in Arizona. So getting this talent that they have on the defense playing way above expectations, and they do play a little bit of like a go for broke style, but it works for them, and these guys are bought in, and that's what this defense is like, special on a week to week basis, and can be really special some weeks. Something that we highlight on this show heavily is how important coaching is when we start to get into, let's just say, like the playoffs. Every season, the teams who go far in the playoffs are the teams with the best coaching. Everybody loves to highlight how great Mahomes is, but nobody loves to sit there and talk about how great the defense has played over the last 2 seasons and how great Steve Spagnuolo is and how great Andy Reid is as a head coach. And you look at it like Harbaugh, all these teams who have really great head coaches always are the teams that are there in the playoffs every year in and year out and play deep in. So I think that this duo of Kevin O'Connell calling a high level offense and having the entire team bought in, being a really great head coach, and then having somebody like Brian Flores, who was a head coach. It didn't work out ultimately in Miami just because he's kind of a hard ass. But I mean, it seems like they balance each other well, and recipe for success. And these two having two high end, an offensive coach and a high end defensive coach, obviously matters. And we're watching it play out this season. We watched it play out last season as well. And I'm excited to see what they can do still for the rest of the year. The front office / ownership. Let's just go into some of the moves the Vikings have made over the last few years. I know that things have changed, coaching has changed, GM has changed, but the ownership and the philosophy of their organization kind of has been similar. They've just upgraded at certain positions. So obviously, Justin Jefferson, pick at number 22, 4 wideouts were taken ahead of him. He's the best player in the game. Absolutely crazy to think that he fell to 22 looking back at it. Christian Darrisaw, one of the great young left tackles in the game right now. I can't wait for him to honestly get healthy again and start playing at a high level. Really, really high on Christian Darrisaw. He's going to be good for a really long time. Jordan Addison, another wide receiver, 23, 3 wide receivers before him. You can't convince me that he wouldn't be a number one on multiple teams in the NFL. He's another guy who's just very special, very good. Bolitnikoff winner in college, and I mean he's just a dog. As long as he can keep his head on straight, which I know that he's had some minor off the field issues. I don't think anything like too crazy. Like he got caught speeding and was like drunk at the airport or whatever. I don't know. Just clean that stuff up. You're going to be a pro for a really long time and really good. Obviously trade for TJ Hawkinson from the Lions, elite move, even coming off the ACL, he looks really good. You sign a veteran running back like Aaron Jones. When Aaron Jones is fully healthy and clicking, he is a great piece to add into an offense with like all these high-powered skill guys. Then you move on from Kirk Cousins. Turns out he's cooked. Great call. A lot of teams were like the Falcons overpaid for him, got him in the building, and he's cooked. So the Vikings being able to see that, knowing like, okay, like let's just move on from him. Like we're going to be better off for it. Chess move and ahead of the curve, which is important. Then you sign Sam Darnold, draft JJ McCarthy, draft DJ Turner. They called their shot. They're right. This is important. Like this is all important right now. First off, the Sam Darnold signing, absolutely ridiculous. And we'll get into that. This is all important right now because the Minnesota Vikings do have a decision to make going into this offseason and to next season. I think no matter what happens in the playoffs, like unless if Sam Darnold goes out and throws like 10 picks and whatever. But let's go back to 2017. The 11-3 Vikings lose to in the conference finals to the Philadelphia Eagles, who could then go and win the Super Bowl that year. Case Keenum has his best season as a pro, and they moved on from him. And it turns out it was the right decision. Now, I know that people are going to be like, well, that was a different GM, blah, blah, blah. The Vikings organization and the ownership and the people who have been there for a really long time have been in this situation before and will definitely put their weight into this conversation and have a say in what they do. And I think that is important context for them going into this season because they have been in a situation similar to this before. They've moved on from the guy, and it turns out to have been the right move. They've moved on from 2 quarterbacks who have been successful for them over the last decade. Like Case Keenum had that really good year. Move on to Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was good for them for a really long time. They move on from him. They have Sam Darnold in the building, who's been successful this season, and then they draft JJ McCarthy. So they have options at quarterback as well. Now, Sam Darnold, 27 years old, been in the league since 2018, playing at an MVP level this year. I mean, what they're doing, it's never been a question of can Sam Darnold does he not have like the arm strength or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like he has all the physical tools. He has the build, everything. It was just like his decision making and pairing him with Kevin O'Connell and his play calling and how they're calling the offense for Sam Darnold and how he's processing everything. It's like a match made in heaven. So you're obviously getting a very high level of Sam Darnold, which I thought was dead. I never thought that we'd see it ever again. Honestly, I wish I bought some of his rookie cards at this point because I'd be rich. But hey, could have, would have. But anyway, to get back into it, there's really 3 options. And this is where I want Vikings fans to also tell me what you guys want the ownership to do or whatever. What do you do with Sam Darnold? There's 4 options. The first option I'm going to say sign Sam Darnold. The first one I'm going to say sign Sam Darnold to a Baker Mayfield-ish type contract, which Baker Mayfield got 3 years, $10 million. Same thing with like Geno Smith. Maybe make it a 2-year contract with the 3rd year being like voidable, let's say. And then keeping JJ McCarthy almost as like the Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love model. And obviously it's so hard to say that because, or maybe like an Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes model to like tone it down a little bit because obviously Sam Darnold's not Aaron Rodgers. But having a veteran quarterback in front of JJ McCarthy for a few years, let him get fully healthy, let him learn the NFL. JJ McCarthy's extremely young. I think he's 21, 22 years old. He was the youngest player in the draft last year. And allow him to just learn, take your time, and learn everything around him, learn being a pro. And then maybe after that 2 years that Darnold is in there, have that third voidable year, and then allow JJ McCarthy then to go ahead and flourish as their starter. Next, do that same thing, sign Sam Darnold and trade away JJ McCarthy. The thing is it feels like they have a plan, and I don't know how much they're willing to waver from that plan. And we'll get into what could possibly change that for them this season, but that is also an option. And then the last option, like I said, stick to that plan. Sam Darnold obviously played at a very high level for them this season. Take Sam Darnold, let him walk. There are quarterback needy teams all over the NFL, and I think there's a lot of teams that would love to kind of stand in line up, and get Sam Darnold in the building, because I think that I don't know if he'll ever play this well ever again, unless if it's with KOC. But I think that there's a level now that he's playing at where he can be a competent starter in the NFL. And then do the QB rookie contract scenario where you have JJ McCarthy under a rookie contract, keep bringing in talent, keep drafting talent, overpay for a guy or two, whatever, build out a roster around him. And that has been, over the last few years, like the model for success for a lot of these like younger teams, like the Philadelphia Eagles. When Jalen Hurts was on a rookie contract, you bring in like AJ Brown and all these crazy guys. The only difference is they have Justin Jefferson, they have Jordan Addison. So maybe like get some marquee names on like the defensive side. Maybe I don't know exactly what you would do, but ultimately, what I think they should do is you got to let Sam Darnold walk. Unless if Sam Darnold wins you a Super Bowl, you can bring him back, but stick to the plan. You took JJ McCarthy for a reason. And I think that with their high-end offensive talent like Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, having those two guys would make a lot of quarterbacks extremely successful in the NFL. Not to mention somebody like TJ Hawkinson, who's reliable, very reliable tight end. So I think with their high-end talent and their high-end coaching, I don't think Flores gets a head coaching job after this offseason. I still think that whole situation still rubbed him the wrong way. I think he's like suing the NFL. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that some teams will be hesitant to hire him as a head coach with like how he handled like the Tua situation, all that stuff. And so bringing JJ McCarthy in, if he's fully healthy and ready to go, having high-end coaching on offense and defense, putting him in a great position to succeed, and then having that high-end talent, I don't see how any quarterback wouldn't really flourish in a system like this or on this team, because you're kind of set up for success. Tom Brady said this the other day when he was calling the Vikings game. O'Connell was the backup for him in New England. O'Connell has such a unique like feel for how the quarterback position is going to be played, because he was a career backup, and he is obviously extremely smart, extremely talented as a coach. And like some of the plays that he draws up on third down, his clock management, the whole nine, like he's so good at it. But what he's really special at is being able to take these quarterbacks and mold them into a position where he understands, because he's been on that side of things, where he's been a backup. He knows what some guys need, and he almost like nourishes them, like waters them, like puts them out in the sun, like lets them flourish and puts them in the best position to be able to succeed. And I think that he's going to do that with a lot of guys. And the reason why I think they move on from Sam Darnold this offseason is the move that they did through the end, in the middle, close to the end of the season, whenever Daniel Jones got cut by the Giants, like, hey, Daniel Jones, like, you're gone. The Vikings brought him in. They didn't have to. He's not even listed on the depth chart for them. It's not like he's going to play for them this season, as almost like a audition and being like, hey, I think you should come and sign here, be our backup for JJ. We really like you. We think that we can get the best out of your game and potentially like whatever. Like you're gonna be a backup. Like come do it here. Like we're good with quarterbacks. And I think that was the sign for me that they were like going to move on from Sam Darnold at the end of the season and stick with JJ and have Daniel Jones as a backup. But I'm honestly very curious to see what the Vikings fans think. I hope that the Vikings fans get their hands on this because I was a complete doubter of this football team. I just like didn't think that they had it, and I'm wrong. This coaching staff is top tier. If you have this coaching staff, you got to be extremely happy. They have high end talent all over the field, and like I said, Kevin O'Connell, Coach of the Year. I don't want to buy in too high because then the Vikings fans will get mad at me. But I really think that this week they go out, they play the Lions, and they grab that 1 seed. I really do think that they're so talented, and I can't wait to watch them for the rest of the season. Vikings fans, what do you want the organization to do? Keep Sam Darnold, sign him. Those options that I laid out. Let me know below. And again, thank you for watching. Happy New Year. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys later.
White cloud.